if you're a brand trying to scale online, based here in the Philippines, and you've tried a lot of things na, and for some reason, hindi ka pa din makapag-scale. Maybe you've tried enrolling in different courses or binge watching a lot of videos on YouTube like this one, and maybe you've hired some freelancers or tried to launch campaigns, Facebook ads yourself. And for some reason, you still can't get past a certain level of monthly sales, right? For your brand or the brand that you're managing. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact processes, methodology, strategies na ginagamit ko to generate profitable ad campaigns here in the Philippines. And this is without any exaggeration, but this video alone might outperform most of the courses out there. And I'm not exaggerating, this is not for showmanship. This is what what strategies I did to generate sales or results for a brand that's doing less than 500,000 in the previous year to making 900,000 per month to eventually 2.5 M to passing 4 M per month. And this one for a different brand that's doing 100,000 for 3 months before we started working together, and then 1.5 M on the first month of the year since we started working together. And from making less than 400 orders per month, this is a 3-month data, to making 3.5K or 3,600 orders per month. And this one for another brand that's making less than 100,000 per month on sales to averaging 400,000 in monthly sales. So all this, the same strategies na ituturo or i-share ko in this video are the ones that I applied here. And I'll start with what most advertisers do. And for most advertisers or brands out there, they try all the strategies, all the advanced strategies in the book all at once. Although nothing wrong naman with that. But if you're doing all these things agad at once, your focus, there are insights na your focus is diluted. May mga insights na hindi mo makukuha if you're focusing on one platform lang muna. So instead of doing all these things agad, like you're doing Facebook ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads, you're trying to improve your website, you want to launch SEO or Google ads, and you might get wins for each platform, but it lacks substance or depth for every effort that you're doing. So if you're doing different kind of things, right, you're not getting deeper insights compared to those brands that are focused muna with one and then winning lang on that platform, finding out bakit siya gumagana ng sobra, and then replicating yung success sa ibang platforms. So this is one of the things na nakikita ko na nag-hold back for most brands. They lack focus with the efforts that they do. When in fact, when you're still trying to get past like 3M or 5M per month, then one platform alone can do that for you as long as there's enough na data for that platform for you to scale your campaigns. And another thing na nakita ko that na most advertisers or even agencies na advertising on Facebook or Meta, Instagram, is that they are very fixated with ROAS, right? They're very fixated with this. And the reason why this is, I even consider this na number one na nag-hold back for most advertisers, because ROAS lacks context on what the business is doing. So imagine this: ROAS is computed by yung formula to get ROAS is sales, divide mo siya by ads, diba? So ito usually yung formula. So let's say you got 1,000 worth na product and then you spend 250 on ads. So, kunyari lang naman for one transaction, then you got 4 ROAS, right? Ito yung cost per acquisition mo, or your CPA, or your cost per customer acquisition cost, your CAC. For this video, let's say CPA, cost per acquisition lang muna. So, what's going to happen is, naturally, as you spend more, diba? So, you got 4 ROAS, you're profitable dito, let's say 20% profit margin, you're happy, everybody's happy. And what we have to take note is, as you spend more on ads, tumataas yung CPA or yung cost per acquisition. So, pag tumaas to, meaning, pababa yung ROAS naturally. And when they see their campaigns doing like ganitong 4x ROAS, they want to scale, right? Because that's the logical thing to do next. Do more of what's working. But again, as you spend more on ads, tumataas din yung CPA. Bakit siya tumataas? Kasi the more you spend on ads, the more traffic yung or attention yung na-attract mo or napupunta sa website. And then, because when sobrang daming visitors, nadadilute yung conversion kasi your website is not yet optimized to close a lot of traffic, or maybe you have a sales team. Once they see the ad, may magkikater na salesperson. Ma-overwhelm sila, may mga leads na hindi man-nurture that otherwise man-nurture nyo if konti lang or acceptable or yung usual na amount of volume ng leads yung pumapasok at a smaller ad spend. So when you try to scale, naturally tataas talaga yung CPA kasi the more you reach then, if your ads is not optimized, then it's going to be more expensive. So what most brands do when they scale, nakikita nila na CPA tumataas. So they don't want that to happen kasi bumababa yung ROAS and it doesn't look good sa ads manager or sa dashboard. So what they do is they slow down. They slow down spend, they slow down yung customer acquisition, they slow down yung progress. Right? So which leads me to the next na blockers na nakikita ko most advertisers or brands do, which is mass creative testing. So, connected ito silang dalawa kasi when you do mass creative test, usually yung goal ng advertiser is to find a winning or a better creative or something that they can scale, right? Although logically this makes sense. Maybe because in the past they found one winner na sobrang effective. And logically, if you found that, gusto mong more of that, right? Kasi you want to amplify what's working. And now going back dito sa ganitong philosophy with advertising, because every time you scale ads, right, bumababa yung ROAS or tumataas yung CPA, cost to acquire a customer. So from let's say 1,000 yung average order value, naging 300 yung cost per acquisition nyo. So, meaning yung ROAS nyo naging 3.3x. So, bumaba siya. From 4x, naging 3.3x. And most advertisers, they shake their heads and they think it's doing bad. When in fact, this is normal naman. And so, to combat this or to offset yung negative effect ng scaling, what they do is, they do a lot of mass creative tests, right? They do a lot of mass creative tests kahit hindi pa sila nagsiscale kasi they want the mindset is the more winners you have, the more chances that you could scale, or the more para siyang lotto, or it's like they're trying to control yung chance. Though that's logical naman, but as you scale nga, what you really need is just enough ads, because the goal here why they do creative tests is to reduce yung CPA. Ito talaga yung pinaka main goal ng most brands. But the problem with that is your ads are competing against one another, and you're still too early to reduce or to find ads that's really perfect or super effective, and it's not yet the main goal for the brand. Yes, you can do creative tests, it's normal naman, but you only need enough as you try to grow, because to reduce CPA, no, to reduce CPA, most brands, they lean on mass creative test. But later on, I'll show you why you don't really need a lot, sobrang daming creative testing as you grow. Another thing, most brands still use creative, or interest targeting. If you're still using interest targeting this 2025, I highly encourage na mag-transition na kayo with broad. Kasi when you're using interest targeting, you're adding another element to test sa creative testing process nyo. You're trying to find out ano yung creative na mag-work, ito ba or ito ba. And you're also trying to find out if ano yung interest nagagana for that creative, which adds some level of complexity to find a winning creative. Because sometimes, baka yung creative mo working lang siya for interest 1, pero hindi siya working for interest 2, or vice versa. So nag-a-add siya ng complexity. And the reason why most, or yung ibang advertisers, they still used interest targeting kasi in the past couple of years, it's really effective kasi the algorithm for Facebook, hindi pa siya ganun ka sophisticated. But right now in 2025, the algorithm is so sophisticated na that it can do with the creative that you use, the algorithm can find sino yung mga right people or prospects or users na magre-resonate dun sa objective na gusto mong gawin. If it's purchase, if it's add to cart, if it's engagements, the algorithm is so advanced na kaya niyang hanapin sino yung mga purchasers or sino yung mga taong gustong hanapin based dun sa creative mo. And sometimes it can also do the retargeting na. So it's so advanced na. And the reason, if you're still there, another reason then, if you're still using interest targeting, let's say itong mga red dots are data points of purchasers. So let's say for interest targeting 1, sobrang dami niya. So taas ng ROAS, right? Daming nagko-convert. And then once na-exhaust na to, hindi na siya gagana. So what advertisers do is they test new creatives to match itong new winning audience. But sometimes this winning audience hindi siya gumagana sa ibang creative kahit winner siya for ibang interest. So it adds a lot of complexity, and it's hard to scale if you're repeating this cycle. Kasi for every 5 audiences na tinetest mo, isa or dalawa, or lucky ka if swerte ka na if dalawa yung nag-work. Kasi yung tatlo, you already wasted budget dito. But if you're using broad, what you're doing is you're training the algorithm with data. And at first medyo mahina yung progress, pero the more you spend on one campaign lang, on this one audience, because algorithm is AI and machine learning thrives with more data. So the more data you feed yung campaign na to, the smarter it gets. And you don't have to reset your growth with interest targeting. You have to turn off, turn on yung campaign mo. With broad kasi, and focus lang with one campaign, it will compound over time. And you know what they say with compounding. It's the 7th wonder of the world. And it's true with ad campaigns kasi it simplifies everything, and at first medyo mahina or mabagal yung growth. But once you compound something, let's say 10% consistently, it will come to a point na yung base level na spend mo for this campaign is at least 10 times larger with this interest targeting combined. So this is what this is what holds back majority ng mga brands advertising on Facebook, in Meta, in Instagram. And how I approach this is somehow different. So instead of trying to do everything all at once, because although this looks good kasi it puts you in motion kasi you're doing a lot of things, it feels productive, but objectively it's not really doing you, like, it's not helping you kasi you're letting go of this like deep work and deep and large impact work. So instead of doing a lot of things all at once, focus on finding your intent, prioritize, and your strategy will revolve on that priority. So what's the business intent or the business goal for this month or for this quarter? Is it to increase AOV or your average order value? Is it to scale, or is it to go after a new customer segment ba? Or maybe there's something unique or something that you have to decide for your brand for this month or for this week. Is it to find a new creative testing? That's something that you have to decide first. So for this video, let's focus on scaling, right? Later on, we'll dive deep bakit ito very important. So now that you have your priority, which is to scale, the next thing is you have to make sure that you have your economics right, or you have mapped down what your numbers would look like, ano yung worst case, ano yung target nyo na numbers. And if there's something or a big idea or concept na matitake away mo for this video, it's this. Ito yun, CPA versus ROAS. And it's a big misconception sa marketplace because ROAS simply, like, they interpret ROAS as ROI. You spend this on ads, you get this money, right? You get itong sales. But it's very narrowed na it lacks context kasi minsan, like for this example, ito yung mga scenarios for different spend level. 50,000 yung ad spend, 300,000, 1M, 2M ad spend. And andito yung new customer ROAS, right? Ito yung mga ROI, 4x, 3x, 2.5x, 2.4x. And gross margin, assuming na same sila lahat ng gross margin. Ito yung revenue, yung cost of goods sold, and yung profit for this spending for each scenario. Andito din yung profit margin, yung AOV, same sila lahat, 1,000. May CPA or yung cost per acquisition. And gaano kadami yung customers acquired for each level of spend. And dito sa baba naman, ito yung total customer lifetime value for 6 months. So let's break down why this matters and why it matters a lot. Kasi going back dito sa scenario natin, 1,000 yung average order value or yung sales, right, for one transaction. And ito, 1,000. Let's say for that month, nag-spend ka ng 50,000. You got 4x na ROAS. So may 200,000 ka na revenue. And minus yung cost of goods sold, which is 45% yung gross margin. So, and then minus mo yung ad spend. So may profit ka na 40,000. And that 40,000 is 20% from your total sales na 200,000. So from that scenario, from that spending, you acquired 200 customers. Now, stay with me. I know medyo madaming numbers, but this will make sense and might change how you advertise on Facebook. So if you just spend more, if you look at the numbers, instead of spending 50,000, you're spending 300,000. You're actually making more profit. Although bumaba yung profit margin mo from 20% to 12%, but because you're acquiring customers on volume, tumaas almost more than double yung increase ng profit mo. And this is the number that matters the most kasi you're you're not launching Facebook ads for the sake of launching Facebook ads. You're not doing business to do Facebook ads or to do paid traffic. You're doing business to make a profit, right? And this is the bottom line for every businesses. It's not to get a high ROAS na so you get a very good dashboard and you can screenshot it and be proud of yourself. Although sometimes it's good that we have really good results, but this is the priority if you're running an ad campaign. It's not this. So regardless the ROAS, you should focus on the profit. You should track the profit per ad spend per platform. So the next scenario, where instead of spending 300,000, we spend 1,000,000 on ads. So assuming na mas tumaas pa yung cost per acquisition from 333 na cost per acquisition, naging 400 siya. And mas bumaba pa yung profit margin, but yung actual profit na mapupunta sa bank account, yung ipapabayad sa mga bills, mas tumaas siya, right? And then let's take it to another level. Let's say nag-double to 2M per month na ad spend because sobrang taas na nung ad spend nyo, and yung cost per acquisition nyo tumaas na. Because again, as you spend more, naturally tataas talaga yung CPA. And kahit 3% lang, let's say sobrang baba nung profit margin. Kunyari lang naman, kahit 3% yung profit margin, mas mataas pa din yung profit na matitake home mo. Right? You got 160,000 in sales. In profit from 125,000. So it doesn't make sense na you slow down because you're profitable naman. And you acquired sobrang daming customers, almost 5,000 na customers. And if we're going to really go deep and go full accounting dito, yung 6-month na customer lifetime value for this brand is 1,300 pesos. So yung pag pumasok na yung repeat orders kasi you have a brand, di ba? And you have a product that you believe in, that people likes to use, and it's not just a drop shipping product, so there's a repeat order. So when the repeat order comes in, pag pumasok na yung mga repeat orders, instead na 1,000 yung mas spend lang nila sa brand mo, on average, nagiging mas malaki siya, naging, let's say, 1,300 for this brand. And this is the difference if you're going to look at the whole economics talaga for your ad campaigns. Kasi you're not just making 40,000 on this campaign. On the front end, it looks like you're making 40,000, but you're actually making 67,000 pag pumasok na yung second purchases. Right? And you're not making 100,000 pag pumasok na yung second purchases. You're making actually 200,000. And now, pag tinignan mo yung difference niya, sobrang laki na. Right? Kasi you're acquiring more customers. You're scaling through volume. And you're increasing your profit, right? Kahit pumababa ng pababa yung ROAS, yung profit mo is growing. And that's the whole point. And if we're going to look at it, kahit sobrang dito, 3% lang yung profit margin mo. But because you're acquiring sobrang daming customers, when you multiply this with your profit margin per customer, sobrang laki ng difference. Like, sobrang laki. 800,000 from 67,000 or from 200,000. And this is take home, like cash flow. Like this is like net profit. Ibabawas mo dito yung mga need mong bayaran na outside sa direct operations mo. This is the money na pupunta sa bank account mo. And this is why I emphasize na ito yung pinaka takeaway if you're trying to scale, to know your economics. And a lot of brands disregard this aspect of media buying or advertising or Facebook ads. So when you have this solved na, you will understand na you don't really need a lot of ads. What you need is better ads, right? You don't need more, you need less but better. Because once you realize na you don't need to launch a lot of creative tests to find a low CPA ads. You just need good enough ads na acceptable yung CPA. Now you have an ad na makaka-penetrate ng mainstream na users. And yung mainstream users, ito yung mahirap i-penetrate kasi kailangan malaki yung spend mo, kailangan consistent ka, and kasi if you're just spending enough and or you're spending small or on average, let's say 50,000, yes, minsan matatap mo yung mainstream users, but you're fighting the algorithm kasi you don't have something that people like, or the way you test, you're always resetting kasi pag bumaba yung CPA, you turn it off. You on the other hand, the more you spend also, Facebook looks at you and see you as a business partner, looks at your previous spending with them, how much are you spending, and you can notice this, how Facebook charges you. The more you spend, the cheaper they charge you per 1,000 impression. And this is very, like, I've experienced this na to the point we're charged 1 peso to reach 1,000 people. And sobrang cheap ng signal sa amin na what we reach in a month before, we can reach it in a day because the algorithm is favoring our ad campaigns or our ads. So you don't need more ads. What you need is new ad concepts, right? You don't need to do a lot of creative testing, just enough ad concepts and well-researched ads. You need better ads. You need to understand your customers more. This is where you can learn about creative strategy and avoid new variations muna unless you have an ad that's proven, and introduce 3 to 6 new ad campaigns or ad concepts for every cycles. Let's say you're testing per week or by monthly, or maybe once a month lang kasi you don't really need to test a lot if you're still starting out. Or if you're still trying to break a ceiling, right? You have to focus on your numbers. So this is an example that we have an ad na nag-spend na siya at least 100,000. We have an ad that has been running for almost 2 years na, and we have an ad na kahit sobrang taas na nung cost per purchase, we still turn it on kasi the CPA still makes sense, no? So this is the formula, and once you learn this and apply this, how it works, the concepts here, you will come to understand that this is like an unlock for you to scale. You should focus on improving customer value. Instead of 1,300, maybe you try to increase the average value per customer so that you can acquire more customer. You can afford to spend more on your CPA, and because of that, you can afford to spend more on ads. And that's how you increase your profit volume and not just yung ROAS. This is the exact strategy and methodology that I follow to scale brands, get past 3M, 4M, 5M per month. And for the campaign structure, use CBO, one campaign, one main campaign, broad, so you don't have to always restart your interest targeting. For the creative test, dito mo siya gagawin. Let's say you have ad 1, you have ad 2, and you have ad 3, and yung winner dito, ita-transfer mo sa control ad set or yung winner ad set, and dito na siya. Let's say yung winner is ad 2, and ganito lang. The beauty with CBO campaign is sa ad level, yung algorithm yung magde-decide. sinong ad set yung mag-earn ng spend, or paano niya i-allocate yung ad spend. Let's say 80% is napupunta dito sa winner ad set after mo ma-transfer yung winner. 20% dito. Let's say nag-launch ka ng bagong new creative task for the week. And if 20% napupunta dito, 80%, meaning na-transfer mo yung winner dito, and effective siya kasi 80% ng ad budget napupunta dito. And may winner ka, potential winner ka nga na 20% na dito. But if let's say let's say nasa 5% lang ng ad spend napupunta sa control ad set, and then 95% napupunta dito, ibig sabihin may winner ka talaga na creative task kasi na-earn niya yung spend from the winner ad set. And ito yung nakaganda kasi you don't have to guess. Yung setup mo mismo yung magsasabi if you have something that's better than the other. And you do that, you scale the ad spend by 5% to 15% 3 times a week. And you continue doing that until you compound your ad spend to the point na magbe-break, ma-expose ano yung need mong i-improve. And then once you found that, dito ka na babalik sa intent. Ano yung goal nyo for the week or for the month? Is it to scale more? Is it to go after a new customer segment para mas makapag-spend pa kayo more? And is it to increase yung average order value nyo per transaction so that you can afford to acquire or pay more for your CPA, for your cost per acquisition? So, kaya important yung intent. And once you find that out, you can increase your customer lifetime value. You can spend more so that you could increase your profit volume even more. And that's the scaling unlock that most brands don't know, or maybe lack in their drawing board or in their strategy. And this is it. Like, you can do this and you can scale your brand and outperform most agencies out there, right? And if you're still watching at this point, I'm sure you're very serious on scaling. I'm actually opening doors, and I created this, or synthesize itong profit advertiser system. Everything that na shinare ko dito. If you want to do this with full support from me or direct support from me, and you want to avoid making mistakes as you implement this, there's a link in the description. Feel free to explore that. Don't worry, you don't have to give away your email, or you don't have to give any of your contacts. There's a link on the description. Feel free to explore that. And if you want to get past 1M to 3M per month in sales using the profit advertiser system, while outperforming majority of most agencies out there while spending less than 4 hours a week in your ad accounts, click the link in the description, and I'll see you there. And I hope this video gave you a ton of insights and really value on how to approach scaling, right? And navigating growth for your brand or for the brand that you manage. And yeah, that's it. I hope this helps you a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.